I am the Lonely Jogger.
And I am Hudson Huck.
Welcome to the Middleweights podcast. How you feeling today, Hudson?
I'm feeling great. How about yourself?
I'm feeling pretty good. Getting pretty hyped up for today's show.
Yeah, me too.
Episode 2.
Episode 2.
We tried to do an episode a couple days ago.
Did not work out so well.
The new format didn't work out, so we're going to go ahead and try it again.
Stick with the tried and true.
This is episode 2.1. What is today's topic, Hudson?
Today's topic is multiplayer games. What we like about them, what we hate about them, what's our favorite, what's our least favorite, what they could do better, what they could take away from single-player games, all that kind of good stuff.
So it seems like with all the topics, we like to start with a little bit of a history of that topic. And kind of the history of multiplayer. Do you know what the first multiplayer game ever was?
You know, I want to say Pong.
No, it was Tennis for Two, actually.
Wasn't that the same thing?
Well, kind of. I'll have to show you a picture of it. We'll post a picture on our Facebook page. It's like this. It had this device, and it had like knobs on it where you can control kind of
like an Etch-a-Sketch that was on TV?
Yeah, it wasn't really on TV. I'll have to show it to you. But that was like the first multiplayer video game of all time.
Cool.
But Pong kind of holds the prize because it was the first one that was like available in everyone's living room.
Yeah, kind of the mass appeal game.
Yeah, and then you had other Atari games, but then you had a ton of Nintendo games that all had multiplayer. Mario even had multiplayer. You couldn't play at the same time.
Yeah, it was one at a time multiplayer.
But it was kind of birthed the whole couch co-op thing. Even before, like if we're not going to talk about home consoles, you talk about the arcade.
Oh yeah, the 2 and 3, 4 player arcade games. Yeah, those were huge.
Or even if it was just a one player game, everyone would just crowd around.
Yeah, it was an experience to watch.
They'd put their quarters up on the arcade machine.
I remember that.
But yeah, back to couch co-op. Now these consoles were in our living rooms. Mm-hmm. Now you know your brother. I always play with my brothers, but your brothers or friends would come over, and you just you'd play all these games with each other.
Yeah. Even if you never even got to touch the controller, which happened a lot in my household. Because
I'm the youngest brother, man. I understand.
Yeah. But it was still an experience that you shared.
There's a lot of games on Nintendo and Super Nintendo, like the game for the game show last week, Battletoads. We played a ton of Battletoads growing up. You had the
Double Dragon.
Yeah, you had all these games that were really meant to be played with two people. So kind of like the early game, the history of early games and early video games, and the history of multiplayer games kind of goes hand in hand. And then you had the birth of online multiplayer games. Yeah. Which, do you know the first game, or I should say, do you know the first console that allowed people to go online? You'll probably never guess this.
Dreamcast.
What?
Yeah.
How'd you guess that? I had no idea.
Lucky guess. It was a lucky guess.
They were the first ones to really push this online gameplay.
Way ahead of their time.
Yeah, the first game was Phantasy Star Online. While it had its hiccups, it was an amazing game. I
never played it.
Just for the simple fact that you can go online. We had a Dreamcast for a little bit there.
A buddy of mine had one. There was a lot of great games on that system.
Yeah, I don't know why they failed so hard though. I think
marketing.
The competition.
I think Sony had much better marketing for the PS2. I think that's when the PS2 came out. Yeah, they had much better marketing.
So now that you have the online play, I know we were talking about, like, for me, multiplayer is everything from online to couch co-op to as long as you're not playing alone, it's multiplayer.
Yeah, I would agree with that. That's kind of my feeling too.
But kind of what you were talking about is the online, is that truly multiplayer? Is that a little bit impersonable?
It does seem really impersonable because you're not there. You're only digitally there, experiencing it with other people. Yes, you can communicate them with like headsets and all that stuff, but it just seems like you're like talking to somebody over the phone as opposed to sitting next to them on a couch talking to them.
I would agree to a certain extent, but that's society now, and that's like moving forward.
Oh, yeah.
That is, I look at Skype, look at how people make contacts. Like,
yeah, it's everyone's more connected, it has the ability to talk to everyone in the world, but at the same time, we're much farther apart now. We're more isolated.
And I mean, you hear stories all the time about like people meeting online and then meeting in real life and falling in love with each other, or meeting online and falling in love with each other before they even see each other.
Yeah, yeah. It's happened many times, like marriage proposals and all sorts of stuff.
It's happened to you?
No. Well, no.
So, I mean, how could that be so impersonable when people are falling in love online or they're making lifelong friendships? To me, I love multiplayer online because it does feel like you're experiencing the game with other people. It's something like, let's say me and you play online, and then we go to work and we start talking about it. Like, that was crazy last night when this and this happened.
Yeah, yeah.
Like, how is that impersonable?
Well, it's not necessarily. I guess it depends on the game and the type of play style. Like if you like a big MMO, like say World of Warcraft, where you can have friends play with you, or you could play with people you've never met. When you can discuss it outside of the game, say like a work or whatnot, if you're playing with coworkers, then it is more personable, But if you never see the person you're talking to, I mean, that's got to make a difference.
It does make a difference, but I think what multiplayer or why multiplayer is so appealing to a lot of people is just the replay value of it. I mean,
every time you play, if you're playing with somebody else, or even with you're playing the same people, the experience is different.
Yeah, like even if you have no friends online, because you would argue, if you have no friends online, you're playing online, and you're just running around like you're playing Call of Duty and you don't know anyone in the room. That's still a collective experience to me because you're still playing with other people. And not only that, that's what's
well, I would say it's a unique experience.
Well, that's what I was going to say. The replay value, I mean, goes up. Big
because
time.
The experience is different every single time.
Yeah, so every time you get on, the map might be the same, the guns might be the same, but
the players are different.
I think it has to do with like artificial intelligence. Like single player games can't quite get that artificial intelligence that's that real. I mean, it's getting better and better and better, but there's something different about.
They're
playing
usually
a real
not
player.
balanced. They're usually like way, like too dumb to fight back, or they're too powerful and you can't kill them.
So that leads to the question, are video games meant to be experienced alone? Or are they meant to be experienced online? Or are they meant to be experienced with people?
Well, it seems like the trend with video game and console makers is to have everything online, but not to be in the room together. Very few games nowadays are made for couch co-ops, which is a tragedy, in my opinion.
Yeah, I remember when we first bought the Xbox One, we were so excited. We went to the store and we were Co-Optimus online as a website, and it'll tell you.
Love that site. Check it out, everyone, if you like co-op games.
It'll tell you what games on what systems will allow you to play couch co-op or online co-op, and it's just a really good guide to like.
Yeah,
going out
it actually goes even farther than that. It'll tell you which games have campaign that are co-op versus just an extra part of the game that you can play with people.
Yeah, exactly.
Which is a great way to, if you're looking to buy a game that's truly couch co-op, it's a great resource to look into.
So you kind of mentioned a second ago that games are starting to kind of head towards being all online.
Yeah.
Well, then you have these games like Skyrim and like Far Cry Primal. You have these games that are completely buying into being offline games.
Yeah.
So how do you, as someone like me, I love multiplayer games and a multiplayer game experience, but I also tend to love certain single-player games.
Yeah.
So what is it about those games would you say that draws me into those single-player games?
It's probably the immersion. I would say like games like Skyrim and Far Cry Primal, the world seems to be built around you. In other multiplayer games, it's just the world that you're in. You don't really. It doesn't feel like it's there for you.
Single player games, you mean?
Yeah, and multiplayer games. Oh, yeah. But games like that, games that can make the world feel like it's there just for you, are amazing.
Yeah, I guess that's true because some of my favorite single player games, The Last of Us, is one of my all-time favorite
It's
games.
a great, fantastic game.
I think why is because I totally bought into the universe. I was totally immersed in the game. I wasn't just holding a controller playing this game. I was
Yeah.
inside that game.
You're making choices that affected the world around you.
Yeah, and same thing with Skyrim. I think just the how big Skyrim was and how much there was to do.
Yeah, how immersed you could be in the world.
So I think if I had to say for myself, what attracts me to single player games is, how much stuff is there to do, what is the replay value, and how immersed can I get in the story.
Yeah, so that's why I think the best multiplayer games are the games that can immerse everyone playing at the same time into the world, like a Borderlands, which you can play single player or multiplayer and still have the same experience of the world around you. And I think that's what makes a great multiplayer game.
Yeah, and so these games that I mentioned that purposely only are going single player. So some of these games are completely buying into going single player. And for instance, Far Cry, they developed this multiplayer game. Like me and my brother used to play online on Far Cry 4. And you could still run around and play with each other, and that was an awesome experience. And now all of a sudden Primal, we both bought it and we can't play with each other.
Yeah.
Is that, is it worth it to you to make this secondary multiplayer game? Like here's the full game, and but you guys can play online with each other, but you can only run around and like capture camps and
yeah,
stuff.
it seems like it's just like an afterthought, and it kind of, for me personally, diminishes the fun of the game.
But if I'm playing the game and I'm at a certain point and I have all the main missions done, it was super fun to run around with my brother and hunt and build guns. And so is that...
But would you rather play the game with your brother the whole way through?
Yes and no, because sometimes he's busy, I'm busy, so we can play our own separate games and we can come together and help each other. So it kind of begs the question of how are multiplayer games going to look in the future? Are they going to be like you're talking about, like Borderlands, where you can play start to finish and it doesn't matter? I think a big thing is the story has to be set in a universe or set in a certain way to where it allows for multiple characters to be involved.
Yeah.
Like one of my favorite multiplayer games is Lord of the Rings War in the North. And there's 3 characters. And if you're one character and you're playing by yourself, the other 2 characters will be computer characters. If there's 2 people playing, then 2 out of the 3 people will be, So there's these 3 characters no matter what. So they can either all be players or one of them be players. So I think if more games write these stories with your like AI sidekicks that are able to be controlled by other players online, then they can jump right into the story.
Yeah.
And I think that's the key if they want to make an awesome single-player game, but also a game that will be fun co-op all the way through.
Yeah. But that begs the question, though, like if you just wanted to play by yourself, would you be stuck with these other, computer-controlled characters if you didn't want them?
Yes, and they're part of the story. So they're not just these
So again,
henchmen.
it depends on the game, really. I mean,
exactly. You would
the
have
story
to,
of the game.
You'd have to start writing this story. You would have to build it from the ground up. And I think there's nothing worse than playing a single player game and seeing like a little multiplayer option. You're like, oh, cool, let's go try that. And you can tell, like what you said, it's an afterthought. It's just a couple things they like threw together, and it's all laggy and glitchy and doesn't really work. And to me, just like anything else, on the marketplace, even that little tiny multiplayer section is representing you as a game developer. So if you're going to release this half-finished, multiplayer thing, I would rather you just keep it out.
Yeah.
But on the other hand, Far Cry 4, it was kind of half-finished. It was kind of hokey. So in Far Cry Primal, half of me, was like, I'm glad that they didn't put it in. But the other half of me was like, they were getting better. And they could have
the balance was getting closer to even. But I mean, is it still there? Is it there yet? I should say.
The multiplayer?
Yeah.
No, it's completely gone. It's single player now.
Oh, so there you go. So they were trying to get to it and then just dropped it.
Yeah, the release they said was
Which is good because I think it'll be a better game for it.
Yeah, they said that they really wanted to focus on the single player experience.
Yeah.
And I understand that. I understand that to a certain degree, but when you look at Far Cry Primal and you're like, this is the same game as Far Cry 4 with new textures and like just like a reskin. If you're building a game from a ground up, I can understand. But if you're really just reskinning a game, why couldn't you just reskin the 2-player? Because I don't mind, as much as I hate when there's these unfinished multiplayer, I don't mind as long as like it doesn't really, if you really want to play single player, it doesn't affect you.
Yeah. Yeah, that goes a long way, I think.
So, what is your favorite, in closing, what is your favorite multiplayer game of all time?
Of all time, I would have to say it's a game that encompasses everything we've been talking about. Perfect Dark for Nintendo 64. It has amazing single player, has amazing co-op, and it has amazing multiplayer game.
Perfect Dark, huh?
Yeah.
That's hard to beat.
It's really hard to beat, in my opinion. What about you?
Oh gosh, I would have to say Diablo 2.
Diablo.
It's hard.
Yeah.
For me, it's hard. Me and
I
my
never
buddy.
really played Diablo 2.
Me and my buddy at work, we just beat it again. We
Nice.
both had our like crappy little computers, and me and my fiance are actually playing in our computers right now. It's just, I don't know what it is about it, but it's one of those things you can experience the game in multiplayer just like you would in single player.
Yeah,
But
that's what makes a great multiplayer game, I think.
I'm a big loot guy.
Yeah,
so I
me
love
too.
the item drops. I love
Like finding that rare item.
yeah, it's a hard question, like what's your favorite multiplayer game? That's
Yeah,
I mean,
it's
but
because you can have different phases of your life of which you're playing different styles of game. Like currently, Borderlands 2 are my favorite multiplayer games because they combined all the elements that I love in a game. You know, blowing stuff up, shooting people, loot, leveling up, and you get to play with a buddy or 2 or 3.
yeah. No, I love Borderlands. I
Yeah.
would have to go with you on that one.
And not to mention the amazing story and humor in the game.
I'll have to agree with you there. Borderlands is one of the best games. It's a first-person shooter for one, which I love. It's got loot drops, which I love. It's basically gun porn. You can build any gun you want, or at least find any gun you want.
Yeah, exactly.
It's an amazing game.
Perfect game, or near perfect. I wish more developers would take the time to make games like this.
Oh gosh, yeah.
I'm super excited for Borderlands 3 whenever that comes out.
Someday, they'll make
Someday
it.
we'll be old and decrepit retirement homes when it comes out.
Well, on that note, let's take a little break.
All right.
I need to decompress after
Stretch my legs.
that Borderlands 2 conversation. Makes me really want to play it now.
I know, me too.
You know what I love, Hudson Hawk?
What do you love?
I love video games.
Oh, I didn't know that.
But you know also what I love?
What?
Helping the community. Imagine that.
Yeah, me too.
Specifically, all the kids in our community.
I was a kid once.
Me too. One great channel that lets me help kids in our community is the Make-A-Wish Foundation.
It's a great foundation.
I'm in the process of granting my very first wish right now, and I'll tell you, it has been one of the most amazing and rewarding experiences so far.
That's awesome.
You know how much time it requires?
How much time?
Well, to be honest, very little. You meet with the kiddo and his or her family, go over the wish. Then the only other time you really have to schedule is the wish presentation itself. Everything else you can do from your computer or phone as far as making arrangements.
Cool.
Right now, there are many kids that are waiting for their wishes to be granted, and I know there's a lot of good people out there that have huge hearts, and I want to help these kiddos. So, the Make-A-Wish Foundation is always looking for volunteers. If you are 21 or over, please go check out our Facebook page for more information.
And speaking of the Make-A-Wish Foundation, we are sponsoring a Make-A-Wish tech drive where you can donate your video games and old tech equipment for charity.
Any electronics, old phones,
and all
tablets.
All the donations, all the proceeds goes directly to Make-A-Wish Foundation.
So where exactly is this going on, Hudson Hawk?
Well, it is going on the Gonzaga campus, the Hemmingsen Center, the brand spanking new building that they just built last year. The first floor, they have a tech, high-tech...
It's the Next Gen Tech Bar.
Next Gen Tech Bar, thank you. It's got all sorts of cool gadgets and high-tech stuff there to check out.
It will be April 28th from 2 to 5 p.m. No one's going to remember that, so go ahead and check out our Facebook page. We have a flyer, look around campus and the city. We're trying to post flyers up, so let all your friends know.
Yeah. Check out Facebook if you have any more questions.
And on that note, it's time for Hudson Hawks.
Up and Comers.
So what do you have for the up-and-coming game of the week?
Up-and-coming game of the week is No Man's Sky, which is still coming out in a couple of months. But, with the topic of multiplayer games, this is technically a multiplayer game. Although it is so large, it's unlikely you'll play with anybody or even see anybody playing.
Yeah, and it's hard to say if it's a multiplayer game. I think...
It's a single-player game set in a multiplayer game universe. Would you agree with that?
Yeah, I guess that's a good description. There's another way to describe it.
It's literally a universe, by the way.
I know the developer said directly, this is not an MMO. Don't expect to ever see another player, or at least your friends.
Yeah, the chances of seeing another player is less than 1%.
Yeah. But anyways, what is No Man's Sky?
Well, No Man's Sky is kind of, you've heard of an open world game. This is an open universe game. You've never heard of it. Well, an open world game is basically a game where it's big and expansive. You can go and do anything. This is an open universe game where there are 18 quintillion planets to explore. And to give you, a perspective of how big that is, that's an 18 with 18 zeros behind it. And the planets are actual planet size.
Hudson Hawk is back at that math once again.
It's my math, yeah. It's a big number. And on each planet is unique, and it has unique plant and animal life and things to explore and alien languages to learn, which is, I don't know, it sounds pretty cool. And you could trade or mine, or you could be a pirate and shoot things.
And I wanted to say that it does sound pretty ridiculous that a developer would go and make this many planets, but it's actually because it's procedurally generated.
Yes, exactly.
It's all like algorithms.
No, you couldn't make those planets. Yeah,
no,
it's all math.
So once you leave a planet, the planet kind of no longer exists until you enter it again. It's all algorithms.
Yeah.
So it's like this really complex coding, and I think the way they're coding this game is going to change how games are coded forever.
Oh, I foresee games in the future being made just like this.
Well, and actually, if you look in the past, there are games in the past like Bethesda with Arena and Daggerfall with the old Elder Scrolls games. They had procedurally generated dungeons, and a lot of MMOs do this. Just kind of
like Diablo 3 had kind of random dungeons that were procedurally generated.
Yeah, every time you come into it, everything looks a little bit different.
Yeah,
and I know Diablo 2 even had kind of like every if you started the game, the maps would always be a little bit different, with the entrance being over here, not over here. But this takes that to a whole new level.
Yeah.
The entire game is procedurally generated. My worry with this game is how many times can you procedurally generate things before you start to see the same things over? Like if you go watch the gameplay videos, you see these like little reptile-looking things.
But the problem is with that argument is the universe is so large, you will probably never see that.
Yeah,
so,
I'm curious. I'm super excited for this game.
Yeah,
I couldn't stop talking about it for months and months and months, and then like a year and a half went by, and I was just like, I'm excited for this game and all the freaking crazy creatures, but I would really want to just play this game in the next 10 years. That would be nice.
Well, the studio making the game, which I believe is called Hello Games. Yeah, Hello Games. They're a small group. They're about 15 people, which is tiny for a game company. And they started making the game back in 2013, but they had a massive flood in their building and it wiped out most of their data. Luckily, they had, the hard drives backed up and everything.
It's always important. Save early and often.
Yeah, and they had it saved into different buildings, thank goodness. Otherwise, they would have had to start over from scratch. But, it really set them back. And the fact that there's only, a dozen or so people working on the game, a game this large, there's only so much you can do. It takes a long time to do it.
Yeah, and I feel bad because I feel like one of those people like release the game already.
Well, and that's the thing. It's like they've been talking about it now for 3 years, but it's a massive game. And so few people working on it. It's going to take a while.
I just think it would have been so cool if they would have just waited and not told anyone until like 3 months before the game comes out and just blow everyone away. Because now, like, I know people that were so excited for this game, and now they don't even know if they're going to buy it because, well, they've heard about it so much, and now there's a lot of gameplay video out, and there's like, I've seen all these planets, I've seen all these generated things. It was cool when I first heard about it. Now it's like when I pick it up and play it, it's going to be just all the stuff I already watched for 2 years.
Well,
straight.
I think the thing is there are only so many videos out, and they are only showing the same planets over again. But they're only showing 4 or 5 planets, and there's 18 quintillion of them.
Oh, I've seen more than 4 or 5 planets, but I understand what you're saying.
But it is all they're showing, so they are showing the same videos over and over again.
And it
makes it look like it's not very big.
But here's my fear with that is they are keeping a lot close to the chest.
Mm-hmm.
But one of the biggest criticisms they're receiving right now is maybe that's all there is in this game. Maybe the procedurally generated universe, once you see 5 planets, you'll see them all.
But they are planet-sized planets, though. They will take weeks to explore, which is the type of game that I love. But I love exploring in games. It's kind of why I play a game.
Yeah, I mean, it goes back to another thing I love about single-player games. It has to have exploration.
Oh, yeah, for sure. Otherwise, I'll just get bored right away.
It can't be linear. But in this game, sure, you have a planet-sized planet, but if you see all that planet has to offer in the first 5 minutes...
Yes, I would agree. That is my worry also.
What's making you want to walk around that planet? So, yeah. I mean, the biggest worry people have is...
Is there enough there to make it worth exploring?
Yeah, and they keep on talking about you can be a space pirate, you can learn new language, you can learn all this stuff. Well, they haven't... We don't know the excess that you can do all this stuff. We don't know how advanced all these things are. There's no point to the game, which sure is nice. Like you said,
yeah.
We were talking the other day, and you said that's a nice thing. You kind of choose your own adventure. That's cool, but what's going on with the space wars? What's going on? How does any of that work? Is it all just? My biggest worry is some of the stuff is going to be this afterthought that's put in behind this procedurally generated universe.
Yeah, I'm not worried about that. I think they're doing a great job of balancing everything. My only worry is,
but like you said, you've only seen the same 5 videos, so you're devoting your entire belief into this game and all the stuff that they're balancing correctly off of 5 videos.
Well, no, because like I said, I'm all about the exploration, and that's really why I want to play this game. I could care less about the fighting in space and all that stuff. I just want to see what's over the next hill. My only worry is there is nothing over the next hill.
Yeah, that's what I was just gonna say. What if over the next hill was what was over the last hill?
Yeah,
so
but I mean, the fact that there are multiple planets to explore and every planet's different is reason enough to buy the game for me anyway.
Yeah, I'm gonna buy it for sure.
Yeah, there's no doubt about it.
And
I am.
The only reason why, if you talked to me a year ago, I would not have said anything bad about this game.
Mm-hmm.
I was in the boat of, oh my gosh, I can't wait for this game to come out. But now, like, I've literally, sad to say, I've watched hours of gameplay. They have 30 minutes of gameplay where they go over 15 different planets, and two things really have to be strong in this game. One is like creation. Like you get to mine stuff and you take resources.
Yeah. They have that in this game.
I know, that's what I'm saying. What can you do with those resources? What can you build? Is it just keeping, oxygen? Like
if it's just like trying to keep yourself alive, I'll lose interest really quickly, I think.
Can you build spaceships? Can you just find spaceships? Can you?
I believe you can do both. You can upgrade currently spaceships, or you can buy or steal new ones, which is pretty sweet.
That would be awesome. But like they don't say anything about that. You see all these, AT-AT looking walkers. Who does that belong to?
Well, that's part of the mystery of the game, actually. That's part of the lore of the game.
I understand the mystery and the lore of the game, but if it's going to be like Lost, where it just has all these questions and nothing is being answered,
I believe you learn by playing the game. You learn languages, alien languages, and that unlocks lore and the history of like the planet and the universe and
let's hope
who the Sentinels are and all that stuff.
Okay, and then when you join, they say you can join factions and stuff. If you're joining factions, can they send you out on quests? I know.
Yes, they can. There are quests that they can give you.
Are you sure?
Yes, 100% sure.
Okay.
The creator, Sean Murray, has talked about it extensively.
Okay, that's cool. That's my biggest worry. I understand the aspect of open world, everything's there to explore, but there's got to be something driving the game forward to keep people playing.
I agree.
And
I agree.
There has to be some sort of
for
quest.
Me, it is, there are quests. It's just, for me, it is the differences. For me, it is the exploration and what's new, what's over the hill that's different from the last hill. Yeah, and as long as there's enough of that, I'll be tickled pink.
You keep using that reference, what's over the hill, but what if what's over the hill is a tree and a different kind of fish? And you're like, oh, that fish looks cool. Then you go over the next hill and you're like, oh, that's a different colored tree and a different looking fish. Oh, that's cool. You go over the next hill. Like how many, if in that analogy you keep using, how many hills can you go over until you're like, okay, I'm going to go play Call of Duty where I can play with other people and have this competitive.
Well, that's my point though. Like when you discover a new fish or creature or anything, you can name it. It is your discovery. So any future person who discovers your planet or whatever and sees that animal, it'll be whatever you name it. But that's not really what I'm talking about. I'm talking about the hidden stuff, like the hidden treasures and the rare
loot.
Rare loot, yes.
So as long as there's
as long as there's enough loot, for lack of a better word, to find or make, I'm happy.
I would have to agree. I'm really excited for the game. I was kind of playing devil's advocate a little bit because I'm one of the biggest proponents of this game. It looks awesome. We're watching some gameplay video right now, and you said
before that we started recording that the game has been hyped up. And honestly, I'm just so clueless and unaware that I thought it was kind of like this hidden gem that I had discovered.
Oh, gosh, no, dude. I'll send you some articles.
I'd seen an article in Game Informer. They devoted a whole magazine to it, which I thought was like, wow, this devoting a whole magazine to this indie game, which is cool. But I still thought it was
Sean Murray is the developer, right?
Yeah, he's kind of the head of.
He's been on every night show.
Yeah, he was on the Colbert not the Colbert Report, the Late Show with Stephen Colbert.
The Colbert Report was way better than the Late Show with Stephen Colbert, by the way.
Yeah,
I missed that.
Yeah, we all.
But he went on all the talk shows. He was on like the Today Show, saying revolutionizing video games. Has had all these magazines devoted to this game and his studios and stuff. So it's been super hyped. It's been more hyped than any video game that's not being like advertised. Like they're not
the next Call of Duty or whatever.
Yeah, they're not being advertised.
Spend $1 gazillion on advertising,
Super Bowl commercials and stuff.
Yeah,
it's just being hyped as this revolutionary, game-changing game. And I'll send you this article. It goes over like every game that's followed that path of like night shows and like just revolutionizing game has like crashed hard. So I'm hoping this doesn't follow that same path.
Let me ask you this: even if this game is a complete failure, do you think other video game makers will pattern their games after this.
Yeah, I think the whole procedurally generated universe is a good idea. It's not the first people who've done it. I think it will be a stepping stone to better games, regardless of what this game is.
Yeah. Do you think? Take for example, say like the next Elder Scrolls game, if it was procedurally generated dungeons, would be better than actually, handmade? Do you think it would benefit from that?
Like I said, in their first two games, they were procedurally generated, and I think that would be amazing. I think
do too.
The
Every time you played the game, it was different.
The problem with that is the same problem I said I'm scared with No Man's Sky is how different can those dungeons be. One advantage you have...
And also how does the lore of the game
yeah.
affect the dungeon and all that stuff. So it needs characters and stuff that are in the dungeons that can't be changed every time.
And there's something to be said about a developer going into a dungeon, creating everything in the dungeon that is supposed to fit this larger story. Then every time you go into that dungeon, you'll have a memory like, oh, right across that creek, is where I beat that guy the last time I played this game. Like, this dungeon has memories. You're not going to have memories on necessarily procedurally generated.
Well, you have memories of events, but just not memories of the area. You can't go back there and expect the same thing. Although in No Man's Sky, everything is there for you.
Yeah, so it's a little bit different No Man's Sky because most procedurally generated games, if you leave the area and you come back, everything's different. That's not the case in No Man's Sky. No Man's Sky procedurally generates the planets and stuff, but it's done. Like the game's already done. Everything's been procedurally generated, so you can come back. I'm guessing what it is you probably start with nothing. You probably have to play for 10 hours just to get off your planet.
Yeah, I believe that's the case. Yeah, if not longer, yeah.
But along those lines, you can name everything on the planet you're on. I would imagine everyone kind of gets to start on their own planet since there's so many planets. I would hope so.
It's almost guaranteed.
But just like everyone else is kind of hyped up, we're kind of hyping it up. So kind of final thoughts. I wanted to ask you, do you know the main point of the game? What is the end? What is everyone trying to work towards?
Well, I believe Sean Murray's said the main goal is to get to the center of the universe. But he's being very coy. He's being not very open about what's there.
I wonder, it'd be awesome if they put a crazy Easter egg there.
Yeah, well, my guess is that he makes a distinction between galaxy and universe. And we all start in the same galaxy, but once we get to the center of that galaxy, we can choose to go to other galaxies to explore, which would maybe have different physics, different environments altogether. So it's kind of end or a new beginning.
An already overhyped game right there. Well, that's genius. You should go work for them.
I do what I can.
I think it'll be
just rickrolled.
Yeah. I think it's gonna be the largest rickroll of all time.
Well,
never gonna give you up.
Even so, if you're getting 100 hours worth of gameplay before you beat it, it's still worth it.
Before you get rickrolled.
And then you get rickrolled. That's totally worth it right there.
And by the way, it's not gonna be 100 hours of gameplay, dude. This is gonna take to get to the center of the universe. He said that he doubts many players will do it.
Well, I think what he said was, depending on where you get put in, because it's all random where you get put in, you could get put in closer to the center. Just doing the bare minimum on each planet to get to the next one will take anywhere from 60 to 110 hours. That's
to get to the center of the universe?
Yeah. But that's literally just going in the straightest line as possible. So and that just gives you an idea of how big that galaxy or universe is, because I'm going to want to explore those planets. I'm going to probably spend 40 hours on my first planet before I go and do anything else.
Yeah, I would agree. I don't think anyone's that game's not meant to be played in a straight line, and I don't really think anyone is going to.
No, I disagree. I'm confident that people will go and try to do it, but they'll get sidetracked and want to explore.
So when is this amazing game coming out?
This amazing game is coming out, I believe, June 21st for the PS4 and PC.
Not on Xbox One?
Not currently.
So lame.
I know, it's pretty weak.
It's okay, I have a gaming PC.
I think I might buy a PS4 for this game.
You have a gaming PC I just built you.
I know.
Why would you play any game? If a game's on PC or on console, you always play it on PC, man. The graphics.
Well, I plan on getting a PS4 for Doom anyway. I don't know. We'll see. Maybe I'll get it for both. Just that it's non-middleweighty of me, but this is one of those games where I think I will be pretty hardcore.
All right, let's take another little short break here.
All right. And we're back. So what's next on the docket?
Well, before we get to the amazing game show, I always have great game shows planned.
Excited.
I just wanted to let you, the listener, know that we are now live on YouTube. We only have a couple videos. We will have a new video for the free game of the week coming out this week. It is a phone game.
Yeah.
Which is very weird. It's called Alto's Adventure. It's very hard to cover the free game of the week on a podcast because I can't show you the things, all the cool things about it.
Yeah, it's a great game though.
Did you get to play it last night?
I did play a little bit, yeah. Although I'm not very coordinated, so I wasn't very good at it.
But can you see what I'm saying? Just the atmosphere.
Yeah, it has a very is it Art Nouveau?
Yeah, artsy,
angular looks, and I don't know. It's very cool.
So go on YouTube, check out the free game of the week. This podcast, all our full podcasts will always be available on YouTube. We're waiting for iTunes. They will be on iTunes soon. So look out for that if iTunes is your preferred method of listening. And now it's time for everyone's favorite part of the show.
Nap time?
The game show.
All right.
Today's game show, again, is based on the developers.
All right.
I know it's not a side of gaming you know very well, but I like to challenge you. I like to challenge the listener.
I don't know. I don't like challenges.
The name of the game is Name the Developer.
Oh, jeez. I am in trouble.
So the point of the game is I'm going to give you 3 or 4 video games, and you have to name the developer of those games. So,
oh, boy.
Like golf, you want the lowest score possible. So, for instance, I'll name one game. I'll name another. If you still haven't got it, I'll name another. If you still haven't got it, I'll name the last one, which is usually the last one is the easiest one. So, however many games it takes you to name the developer, that's your score.
Gotcha.
Make sense?
Gotcha.
All right, this week you're going to be going up against Casey, a friend of ours.
Going down, Casey.
Just say the word No Man's Sky when you're ready, and I'll start naming these games.
All right. No Man's Sky.
Midnight Club, L.A. Red Dead Redemption. L.A. Noire.
Rockstar.
Yes. All right, are you ready for the next list?
Yeah, let's do it.
Soul Eater, Monotone Princess.
Never heard of it.
Tactics Ogre.
Never heard of it.
Kingdom Hearts.
Oh, shoot. Disney?
Final Fantasy.
Ubisoft? No. I can't believe I don't know that. Dang it. I feel stupid for not knowing that. I should know that.
So anytime you don't get the developer...
Square Enix?
Yes, there you go.
Yeah.
So that's 5 points.
Ouch.
Because you took so long to answer after the last one.
Dang it.
I'm going to add a point there for you. The next one is only 3 games. You're going to get this game. But this developer, I know for a fact, it's a question of how long it'll take you. Joe Danger.
Hello Games.
Ooh, there you go.
Yeah.
Look at that. You know what the last game was, obviously.
Yeah. Burnout. I believe they also.
No.
They didn't.
No.
What was it? What was the other
Just
game?
Joe Danger, No Man's Sky. Joe Danger, don't.
That's 2 games, not 3
Joe
games.
Danger, Joe Danger 2, the movie.
Oh. Yeah.
Next list. Watch Dogs.
Oh.
The Crew. The Division.
Is it Naughty Dog?
Assassin's Creed.
Oh crap. I know this. No.
Watch Dogs.
I know this. I was just.
The Crew.
I don't know that game. It's not Naughty Dog. It's not.
The
2K.
Division. 7 points, man. I just
Hey,
keep thinking.
I'm over. I'm hold out. I'm done.
Are you done?
Yeah. What is it?
I'll just give you 5 points for not getting it. Ubisoft, you just said it.
Ubisoft. Ah, dang it.
So if you don't name the developer, I'll give you 5.
All right.
We're kind of just winging this game show.
Rules, schmools.
Would you like to hear your score so far?
I'm afraid to, but okay.
3, 5, 1, and 5.
It's 14. My Hudson Hawk math is correct.
Yes, it is.
It's a pretty good game.
All right,
No, it's not. It's
14.
horrible.
I think it's like out of 20, so it's pretty bad.
Oh. Ouch.
Neverwinter Nights. Dragon Age.
Oh, crud.
Knights of the Old Republic.
Is it Disney?
The developer, not the publisher.
I know.
Mass Effect.
Oh, crud. See, I've never played any of these games. I know it. I just can't think of the name. I can't think of the name.
BioWare.
BioWare. No, I don't think I would have gotten that. And obviously.
I don't know if Casey's going to know it either, so.
Oh, all right. So you're
We'll
saying
see.
there's a chance.
So you got a 5 on that.
A 19?
Yeah, we'll give you a 19. You know what? I'm going to go back because I'm feeling generous. I'm going to give you a 4 on the Square Enix since you eventually got it.
Hey, all right.
The
My
other
lucky
ones,
day.
The other ones you didn't get, I just gave you a 5. So that brings your score up to?
18?
Yes, I believe so.
We're down to
10,
18.
11.
Feeling pretty confident about that.
18
Not really.
18 out of 20.
Didn't get skunked. All right.
Wait, no.
That can't be right.
That's not right. 5, 10,
It'll be 18 out of 25.
5, 10, 15, 20, 25, 24.
24.
Because there's
Yeah.
only 3 games.
Trying to pull some Hudson Hawk math on me here. What's going on?
Your final score, 18 out of 24.
All right. That's not great, but I'm confident.
Now we'll see how Casey does. Are you there, Casey?
Hello.
Hey, Casey.
How are you today, sir?
Doing great. How are you doing?
Oh, doing good. Doing good. The game this week is called Name the Developer. I'm not sure how familiar you are with developers. It's okay because Hudson Hawk over here didn't do so well, so
I don't know what you're talking about. I did awesome.
are you ready?
Yes, I am.
So basically, I'm going to name 4 games, one at a time, and it's like golf. You want the lowest score possible. I'm going to name 1 game. You have to try to guess the developer. I'll name another, and another, and another. Basically, you want to try to guess it in the least amount of games possible. Make sense?
Yeah.
All right. The first developer, Midnight Club LA. Red Dead Redemption, L.A. Noire, Grand Theft Auto 5.
Gonna be Rockstar Games.
Yes, sir.
Woo!
All right, are you ready for the next list?
Yes, I am.
Soul Eater Monotone Princess, Tactics Ogre,
It's gonna be.
Kingdom Hearts,
That one I'm not sure. I want to say Square Enix, but
Yep.
I'm not 100%.
Yep, it is.
Yeah.
All right. Joe Danger. Joe Danger 2, the movie, which is actually a video game. No Man's Sky.
Hello Games.
Yes, sir. All right.
Dang, he's beating me, I think.
I don't know. You got that one.
I got that one in one.
Yeah, Hudson Hawk got that one in one. So, but you guys are close.
Gotta wait for the No Man's Sky.
Yeah, the Joe Danger. I don't even think I've ever played those games. Are you ready for the next list, Casey?
Yes, sir.
Watch Dogs, The Crew, The Division,
Not Tom Clancy. Ubisoft?
yes sir.
Okay.
Dang it.
I think you just pulled ahead of Hudson Hawk on that one.
Yeah.
All right, this one you could seal the deal right here. Last list. Neverwinter Nights, Dragon Age.
BioWare.
Yes, sir.
Dang it.
Once you said Dragon, it was confirmed.
All right. I think he smoked you, Hudson Hawk.
Yeah, pretty badly.
All right, what's the math there? It's 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11,
15.
12, 13, 14, 15.
15 to 18. It's not too bad.
You got 15 out of 24, and Hudson Hawk got 18 out of 24. The whole point of the game was the lowest score, so Casey, you just won. How does that feel?
Pretty darn exciting.
You get the prize of rubbing it in Hudson Hawk's face if you ever see him.
Yeah, if I ever see him.
Cherish that prize.
All right, you have a good day, sir. Thanks for playing.
Yeah,
Bye.
thanks for calling.
All right, I'm sorry, man. He took you out there.
Dang it. Next week.
Yeah, I thought the way it started, I really thought that it was gonna be neck and neck. But what was the one that he?
The last one.
The last one he smoked you on, but he also got Square Enix before you.
Yeah.
You got 5 on that one.
See, I have a severe disadvantage. I don't really pay attention to the developers.
Yeah.
It's tough, man. That's a tough game.
Next week, the tables are going to turn. You're going to have a game show for me.
Hey, all right.
I would like to thank you, the listener, for listening to this podcast.
Yeah, thanks for putting up with us.
It's been fun.
It has.
Until next week,
I'm Hudson Hawk,
and I'm the Lonely Jogger.
and this is the Middleweights.
Peace.
Later.